Kanye West and Drake recently reignited their long-standing beef, and Kanye is now calling out Drake for being an industry snake.
You know what I'm saying? So we'll be on the record talking about, I'm gonna do this. No, you're not.
You're too rich, man. You're too rich.
Kanye and Drake have been feuding off and on for years, and though they seemingly reconciled back in 2021, Drake recently decided to diss Kanye out of nowhere. Meanwhile, Drake also stirred up controversy with allegations he's involved in the murder of XXXTentacion, and fans are now saying it's time Drake gets exposed. But how did Kanye react to Drake dissing him again? Does he really think Drake is a Hollywood snake?
Redemption, a redeeming quality. This is what I have. I'll be wanting to sit down with Drake to say this, just as an OG to him, is the redemption.
Kanye and Drake have always had a complicated relationship, going from collaborators and friends to sworn enemies. Back when Drake was still trying to make a name for himself in the industry, he claimed Kanye was one of his biggest influences. Kanye also supported Drake during his come-up and co-wrote and produced Find Your Love, one of the biggest hits from Drake's debut album, Thank Me Later. However, shortly after, Kanye and Drake's relationship took a turn for the worse, and Kanye later said he liked writing for Drake until Drake, quote, got too big. Drake was supposed to be featured on Kanye's 2010 collab with Rihanna and Kid Cudi, All of the Light. However, Kanye ended up removing Drake's verses from the song. Drake then started publicly dissing Kanye, and in a 2021 interview, he implied that Kanye and Jay-Z stole the idea for a joint album from him and Lil Wayne. And then, in another interview with The Source, Drake said his main mission is to surpass everything Kanye's accomplished. I don't want to be as good as Kanye, I want to be better, Drake said. And while Kanye initially ignored Drake's disses, it was widely speculated that Kanye was the one who told Pusha T about Drake's secret son, which Pusha then used to diss Drake on the track The Story of Adidon. Kanye, however, denied this and claimed he had no part in Drake and Pusha T's beef.
One thing though, because I guess some people, the perception is where did Pusha T get the information for the diss song, this song
like,
to Drake?
Don't even pull me.
I'm not pulling you. That's why I'm asking you.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying
right.
two people.
Right.
Don't pull me into that type of conversation. That's what y'all don't even understand. It's like.
So you didn't get Pusha T the information?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But what, like, don't pull me to this conversation. Like, I'm Ye. I got major things to do other than be telling him some information about Drake. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
gossipy.
Yeah. I don't sit around and do that. Like, I honestly don't care that much.
But Drake was convinced Kanye fed Pusha some information, and he claimed Kanye has a personal problem with him.
I think that's where all of this kind of stems from. It's all kind of rooted in that situation, yes. You know, I think that he definitely recruited a guy with a similar dislike for me, no matter what he says in interviews, you know. Mm-hmm. I know that he can tell whoever, you know, I got love for him and whatever, but it's not love, you know, it's there's something there.
And Drake also said he doesn't want to be the first one to reach out because Kanye is the one who has the problem and not the other way around.
Always willing, like I said, I'm always willing to give the love and the credit. But yeah, things have just changed. I'm not just some kid that's a fan anymore. And now we have personal situations. And like I said, a lot of his issues with me, I can't fix them for him.
But would you be open to communication?
No, not really, because it's not on my end. I have no problem with any of these guys.
And then the beef went to a different level when Kanye took to Twitter to accuse Drake of threatening him and his family. Kanye was still married to Kim Kardashian at the time, and he implied that Drake is a snake for first sneak dissing him and then secretly texting Kris Jenner talking about how's the family. Stop this already, bro. You getting people hurt out here, and over what? Kanye tweeted. You stay too close to be playing all these industry games. Kanye also claimed Drake threatened him, implying that Drake is fully capable of killing someone over a petty beef. So Drake, if anything happens to me or anyone in my family, you are the first suspect. But that's not all. Before he tweeted that Drake would be the prime suspect if anything happens to him, Kanye mentioned the late rapper XXXTentacion and said that Drake picks targets he thinks are easy. Now this is very interesting because Drake was recently ordered to sit for a deposition in the trial of X, and one of the lawyers for the defense claimed that Drake needs to be investigated because he had a public beef with X. To give you some context, the beef between X and Drake started after X accused Drake of stealing his flow from the track Look At Me and using it for his song KMT. X later exposed him, saying that Drake first told him he wanted to meet up, and then when X was arrested and went to jail, Drake copied his flow and dropped KMT.
So you in jail, he's supposed to contact your manager, and then what happened?
He dropped the video of previewing that shit in Amsterdam with some nigga from the UK. You know what I'm saying? He dropped the video I was talking to my girl at the time, not the same bitch that got me arrested, a different girl.
Okay.
I was talking to her at the time, and she was like, yo, listen to, no, actually, it was my dog, Chris. I was on the phone with my dog, Chris. He was like, yo, you gotta listen to this nigga Drake a nigga. That's exactly what he said. Like, this nigga Drake a you gotta listen to it. So he plays it. I hear da-da-da-da-da, my dad. I'm like, what the As soon as it started, like, I knew what he was getting at. And the funny thing is, we didn't discover it. Like you said, the fans, because they're so cold, like, it's like, I got a piece of the internet, you feel me?
So they were saying that Drake was biting your style. That's what the fans were saying.
Yeah. Flow, hell yeah, bro. You could take his verse, like they did a mashup. They put his verse on my song, and the cadence is literally just at the same tempo. It's not offbeat at all.
So now where do you guys stand? Like, what's good now?
I still think Drake a nigga. I'm keeping the blood raw. I still think Drake a nigga. Like, I think he's not a man. I think that's a move.
X said this situation made him realize Drake is not a genuine person, and he also claimed that he would have been fine with Drake remixing his song if Drake had shown him some support first, but that wasn't the case.
If Drake would have came to my barn hearing, you know what I'm saying, that would have made my fucking day. If he would have showed that he's a hospitable person and that he's really in this culture, rather than being a nigga taking my shit, running off with it, and then putting it on his album, then he would have got my kudos, he would have got my respect. I would have let him hop on the remix, take 100% royalty rate. I would have done it. Because I know I can maintain, you know what I'm saying, and I would have appreciated him for being a real nigga. Drake not a real nigga.
And then in February 2018, X shared an Instagram story that sounded very similar to Kanye's tweet about Drake threatening him. If anyone threatens to kill me, it was Drake. I'm snitching right now, X wrote. Some sources later claimed that the story was fake and that X's account was hacked. However, since X was murdered just 4 months after the story was posted, many started speculating that Drake was involved. And the situation recently took another surprising turn after one of the defense lawyers in the ongoing trial of XXXTentacion brought up X's IG story about Drake and said that the police never properly investigated Drake's connection to this case.
Before X died, he said, if anybody kills me, it's Drake. And do you think that for one moment, here today, days after the event, he's killed by 2 masked men, right? He came on social media and said, guys, before he dies, if anybody kills me, it's Drake. Do you think in that time span that they went and they addressed him, they talked to him? No. Do you think sitting here today, years later, any detective has ever asked, Drake or anybody like that? No, they never did that.
Besides that, X's fans are convinced that Drake snitched on himself on the track I'm Upset, which was released just 1 month before X passed away. The song features the line, XSMS, XXX, that's the only time I shoot below the neck. And since X got hit on his neck and torso, many are now speculating Drake ordered X's elimination.
Does it appear that the defects in States 34 are coming from where it would be the left neck side, or the left neck of the victim, where gunshots would be if the victim was shot in the left part of his neck?
Fans later found more clues about Drake's alleged involvement on the track On BS from Drake's joint album with 21 Savage, Her Loss. On this track, Drake raps, maybe I should break that 20, do a 10. The reason why fans think that this line is about X is because if you break a 20, you get 2 10s, plus another 10. That's 3 10s and a 10 in Roman numerals is the letter X. And then Drake continues with, if he held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive again, which could be another reference to X because X previously dissed Drake and his label, OVO, on Instagram Live.
I always counterattack. I don't initiate things. I always counterattack. Just like in this situation, no matter what anybody says, I didn't initiate shit. This nigga ran off with my shit. Everybody knew he ran off with my shit, and they just trying to tell me to basically be quiet. Bruh, nobody's gonna openly disrespect the out of me and disrespect my craft when I'm 19 years old. That motherfucker, what is he, like 60? Like 65? Or isn't he? Didn't he get like surgery on his arms or some shit? Didn't he get like plastic surgery? Didn't you go see like Dr. 300 like 3 times? But what the you think I'm gonna let you take my shit and not say nothing? You can suck my the whole team can suck my OVO. Tell OVO, everybody in OVO suck my.
But what's also interesting is that Drake didn't just throw shots at X on the album Her Loss, but also dissed Kanye, once again reigniting their feud. See, back in November 2021, Kanye made a peace offering to Drake and invited him to play a live show together in support of Larry Hoover, former street gang leader from Chicago who is currently serving 6 life sentences. Drake ended up accepting the offer. However, when he released Her Loss a year later, his true motivation for performing with Kanye came to light. On the track Circo Loco, Drake raps, linking with the Oops, I Did that for Jay Prince. I did it for the mob ties. I've never been one to apologize. Me, I'd rather hit him up one more time. Now, Rap-A-Lot's record founder Jay Prince is one of Drake's friends, and Jay Prince later admitted he was the one who convinced Drake and Kanye to do the Larry Hoover benefit concert. However, some fans speculated that Jay Prince only did this to take attention away from Drake's performance at Travis Scott's Astro World Festival in November 2021 when a massive crowd surge left 10 people dead. Also on Circo Loco, Drake referenced Tupac's hit Hit 'Em Up, a diss track directed at Biggie Smalls, and fans took this as Drake basically admitting he faked his reconciliation with Kanye. So how does Kanye feel about Drake reigniting their feud? Well, Kanye initially took the high road, and after one fan on Twitter told him he needs to put Drake in his place, Kanye responded, "Enough already. I done gave this man his flowers multiple times. Let's really see who are real ops in this music game. Imagine all the rappers on the same side and cleaning up each other's contracts. It's kingdom time. Love Drake." However, sources close to Kanye are now saying Kanye wants nothing to do with Drake anymore because he allegedly realized Drake is an industry snake. After Drake recently bet $700,000 on the Super Bowl game, former wide receiver Antonio Brown took to Instagram to share a clip from Kanye's interview in which Kanye said that the NFL is rigged.
I seen Mahomes.
So why
I seen Mahomes throw that game. I see him throw that game, and it's so funny. It's weird because I'm you know, it's like some bipolarity, right? Because I see Mahomes, and I can see it in his face. I seen a couple passes he threw. I knew the conversation. The conversation is like, you got a long career ahead of you. We need our boy to get 7 rings. And I love Tom Brady too, so I'm torn. You know what I'm saying? You're not always one thing.
When you were AB? You were AB?
Yeah, I'm with AB. I'm talking about when Tom Brady won that Super Bowl over Mahomes, right? So I seen him throw a pass, and it looked like Christian Laettner running up the court slow to me. Because I seen it. I know, and I knew what the conversation was. The conversation, you got a long career ahead of you. We need this one. You ain't gonna be coming out doing all this. You ain't gonna be moonwalking today, Mahomes.
And this situation is once again reignited the debate among fans about Kanye and Drake. While Kanye's fans are saying Drake always goes after easy targets for clout, Drake's supporters are saying Kanye is just bitter because Drake's surpassed him. One person said, "Why didn't Drake have the same energy for Pusha T, who mopped the floor with Drake and made him run to his daddy Jay Prince?" However, a Drake fan responded, "Drake has surpassed Kanye. The level it takes to consistently drop hits every single year for over a decade is something Kanye doesn't have." But how do you feel about Drake trying to reignite his beef with Kanye? Is Drake really an industry snake? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you like this video, make sure you don't miss out on this next one.